Joining me now is author and political commentator Shamika Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
The narrative that anyone with a firearm is a bad guy is a pervasive theme, especially if you are in an urban environment and if you happen to be Black. If you don't articulate these things very well, it's very easy for corrupt portions or ignorant portions of law enforcement or other people to just think it's bad. When I'm in a
if you don't articulate it, if you don't say, yeah, I have a gun to protect myself.
Boom. And now the reality is, this is where the double standard lies. And some people may not like that I'm going to say this. White folks don't got to articulate their position in the same way. Black people in America had to fight for civil rights. You have civil rights when your human rights have been denied, right? The fact that Black guns matter, our work exists, speaks to the problem. The job is to make my job obsolete. But the reality is, it's not generally until we started doing this work and getting people involved. It's becoming more the norm now, and it should be the norm. Everybody should be walking around and like, oh man, I left my gun in the house. Let me go back and get it. It should be as normal as a cell phone.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody. I love that. Everybody. Hello, and happy Monday. Welcome to Shaking My Head with Shamika Michelle. I am your host, Shamika Michelle. Thank you for joining me, Head Shakers. Our theme this week is simple but powerful. Empowered people don't ask permission. For far too long, Americans, especially those with darker skin tones, think they should wait for permission to succeed, permission to speak freely, permission to not be a Democrat, and even permission to defend ourselves. But here's the truth. We are legal, rightful citizens of this country. We don't need to beg for a seat at the table. We are the table. I'm just kidding. I just thought that sounded good when I was writing it. But I'm really saying we belong here. And when it comes to defending our families, our communities, and our freedom, there's nothing more empowering than knowing your rights and exercising them unapologetically. That's why I'm excited to bring on today's guest. He's the founder of Black Guns Matter, an organization teaching firearm safety, U.S. gun laws, and the truth about the Second Amendment. He's here to remind us that gun rights are civil rights and that freedom isn't something the government hands out. It's something we defend. Joining me today is Maj Toure. But before I bring him on, I want to say hello to Grams, hello Miguel, hello Thomas, hello Pro2K all, hello David, hello to everyone here. Now I want to bring him on. And Maj,
Yes.
This is where I need you to pop your collar. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you have the authority to speak on what you're speaking on.
Yeah. First, thanks for having me. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys are reposting this chat all over the place. In order to have, robust conversations, we got to make sure that we're sharing those conversations. Algorithms are funny. Algorithms, YouTube, X, Facebook, Rumble, wherever you're watching this from, algorithms are funny. If you push this content out, the algorithm will then start to send it to more people that you're following. So I want to make sure that everybody's doing that. Make sure you're subscribing to Shamika's channel, and we're going to have a robust conversation. What qualifies me to speak about these things is because for the better part of the last decade, I've went to the places where there's been the most homicides, hung out, informed people, taught the people, put together, events, classes free to all to kind of get the demographic that usually has been left out of the conversation in the Second Amendment, get that demographic on board. Our work was initially, mind you, free to all. So throughout, and this is free, not like socialist free. I mean like cooperative economics, voluntary association, personal, hey, I choose to donate to that. So if you get some value from the show today, please donate. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary is right there under me. These classes have been free to all based on communities working together. And we go to the places where there's, again, the most violence, the most homicide, the most, everybody told me on the right, don't go there because you're not going to be able to carry a firearm. And I don't really follow that motto. I think the Second Amendment is very clear. So what gives me the position to make these statements is based on the lived experience and work that has already been put in. Not a theory, not something that I think I'm going to do or I would like to do. Again, 8, maybe going on 9 years of doing this work. So any questions, I'm super excited to share and get people more woke and not, and I mean woke in a true definition of the actual word, and not sleepwalking out here as it relates to their human right as codified in the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution.
So, Maj, when you say gun rights are civil rights, can you tell us why you believe that?
Well, gun rights were packaged more specifically to Black people as civil rights later. Gun rights, and as it relates to how America was formed, fall under the human right to natural self-defense. Most of America in founding, those guys were practicers of natural law and human rights. So you get civil rights when your human rights are denied or violated, and you got to fight to get them civilly. Mm-hmm. America was not created based on civil rights. It was based on a human belief. Those guys studied people like Thomas Locke, Robespierre, Montesquieu, Frederick Bastiat, European or French revolutionaries that understood natural law, things that come from God. A lot of the founders were deists, and this does not mean that they didn't have, it means 1000% they had a respect for God and nature, but maybe not the way that they're packaged now. They believed that there was a higher power, some of them. Some of them obviously were Protestants, were Catholics, were whatever their religion was. My point in though was they recognized that each being has a natural right in nature to defend whatever it's created, to defend its own life. So when the founding documents were written, they had big arguments. I'm talking about for years about, yo, we got to get this Bill of Rights in here. Like to a certain extent, they were like, these things shouldn't even be separate because they based so much of this situation off of natural law. And in nature, a lion doesn't get permission or get a hunting license to eat a gazelle. A gazelle does not get a license from the government to defend itself against that lion or that cheetah or whatever. And so since these founding fathers understood deism, and I will say this with their own contradictions, these were natural rights that they codified in a specific system called the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, even up as it was ratified a few times at the First and Second Continental Congress. It was still argued about, even in the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Yo, these are human rights. This is natural law, but we got to make sure that it's understood in these actual documents. And so when I say civil rights, I'm saying in the sense of how firearms rules created for different people that were at some time packaged as denizens, not actual citizens, or even better, not sovereign individuals. They gave you civil rights. You have a Civil Rights Act that is re-upped on every so many years. And so I don't follow that script. There's no diss to Dr. King. Shouts to my guy, Chad, who's got a great documentary on some of the Marxist thought and things of that nature that comes from, that came out of the King civil rights era. Quick sidebar. I was right. That clip that you played earlier, that was from an interview where I said Black people are going to save America from Joe Biden. I ran into Chad. We had a speaking event in Baltimore like sometime last year. And he said, when you said that on that interview, I laughed because I was like, there's no way that Black people are going to get from under the Joe Biden thing. And I was like, yeah, they are. And he was like, you were right. So I ran into him, and it was actually really, really cool, the event that we spoke at. But nonetheless, you have these civil rights that are presented to people as if it is superior to human rights, and they're not. I don't have a license to carry. I'm never getting a license to carry. I don't have a driver's license. I never had one. I'm never getting one. I have the human right to maneuver about this space. Now, that's me. This is not me advocating for anybody else. You might not have the lawyers on deck. You might not have the resources that I have. So I'm not telling you that you have to do this exactly the way that I do it. I'm communicating what my position is. I'm fighting the gun case right now because I can't wait to sue the shit out of the state of Pennsylvania. So my point in saying this is I'm just okay with a certain level of I'm gonna make the system respect was written down on paper. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights, regardless of how many times people ignore it or pretend like it's not the supreme law of the land, it is the supreme law of the land. And I'm willing to live that in reality as opposed to just talking about it online. And so our work is in alignment with that. I think it's very important that we teach people about that. That's why we have a civics class over at Solutionary University. And I also think that it's important to give people, you don't got to be a so-called extreme as Maj. I didn't expect to be alive this long. Everything from me on out is a win. I'm just more of a patriot, and I'm from the warrior class. Like, my spirit not really supposed to be here right now. I mean, it's supposed to be here because it's here, but it's just not. You don't have to be as extreme as me. You can find out your area, and even the fact that we got to call it extreme now is a part of the problem. It's just actually basic freedom. I'm saying I want to have, if a mountain lion walk up down my block in North Philly, I want to be able to shoot the mountain lion without like asking permission from the government. And so if you understand this thought process, that's fine. But find out what your role in this situation is. It may be just donating. It may be just sharing. It may just be wearing pro-freedom merch. It may be you training people and instructing people. It may be you teaching a civics class, some of the underlying themes that go along with this. But find out what your role in this position is. But I just don't really ask for any permission for anything. Like, I do whatever I want to do all the time. And I'm American as shit, you know?
Right.
Oh, wait, can we cuss?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm asking for permission from you, Shamika.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
So I will say you are the reason that I was so adamant about even owning a firearm. I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but when I was 18, I think I was 18, I held the gun to a girl's head. Well, first I tried to shoot her and I missed, but I held the gun to her head and pulled the trigger and the gun jammed. So I just always felt like, okay, I don't have the temperament to have a firearm. I don't need that. You know, my best friend picks on me that I'm just, ready to pop off. But just listening to you over the years, I was like, okay, I need a firearm and I need to be able to protect myself. And in 2023, someone knocked on my uncle's door. They had knocked on like 3 other doors before his, claiming that they needed help. And my uncle was the only one who actually opened the door, and he was shot dead. And I feel like if he would have had a firearm, because he was a convicted felon trying to follow the laws now, that was years ago. But here he was, an older man, home alone, headed to church on a Sunday morning. He was shot dead and he didn't have anything to protect himself. I don't know if that would have saved his life, but I just feel like he should have had the right to carry and be able to protect himself. So when you did that interview with John Stossel, it was one of my favorites because I used to watch him all the time on 2020. But I love the fact that you come differently from most people. So I want to know how you respond to people when they say guns cause more harm than good in Black communities.
They don't know enough about history. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't, and I'm not saying that in a rude way. Some of the things I'm working on being more corporate because I think it's time. I'm like 62 years old, so it's time for me to get much more corporate.
If you're 62, then I'm 72, Maj. Cut it out.
Those people don't know what they're talking about because they've been hit with a massive psychological operation. They've been convinced that the firearm itself, if you're not law enforcement, if you're not military, you must be a bad person. I understand why. I understand why. Propaganda works. And they've been fed a steady diet of, you know, in the movies, the guns turn sideways. It just depends on what demographic the media wants to portray you as. If you happen to be in an RV park, sidebar, I own an RV. I love RV parks, campgrounds. If you happen to be so-called trailer park trash, they'll package you as just irresponsible and drunk and all of this with your gun. If you happen to be in a Latin community, they'll say you just like a fool, a gangster, or whatever. Same thing for the black community. My point is, they believe that because the propaganda is there and is not a valid replacement. When I started showing up, I showed up as myself. I went to the areas. I tweet exactly where I'm going to be at. I'll say, yo, my exact location is such and such and such. People pull up, they talk, they chop it up. I just took I'm Allen Iverson of the Second Amendment community. I just showed up and just started doing things the way that I would normally do them and reach a demographic that needed to be reached, that needed to feel because they already were a part, because it's a human right. They needed to see something that looks like a representation of them. And that's where like some of the leftists get some of them wordings right when they say representation matters. It does. I mean, we are a body politic of representatives. And so I just showed up and informed those people. However, they just needed the information to showcase to them that, like, okay, stand your ground laws are actually good for black people. Black people in America, when using stand your ground as a defense, have defended their freedom more than any other background in America in a defensive gun usage. But then around the time when Trayvon Martin was killed, the media spun that Zimmerman was using stand your ground because it was in Florida as his defense. He did not. He just used regular self-defense. But the media will package these things this way. So when they say that, void of statistics, void of data, raw data, void of organizations asking serious questions about firearms ownership and what does it look like, where are people getting killed, a lot of times they aren't even aware that 90% of mass shootings are in gun-free zones. And so when you present the information after you've shown that you care about this community, because you might live there, Chicago feels the same as Philly to me. Brooklyn feels the same as Philly to me. Compton feels the same. It's just little quirks and idiosyncrasies and slight differences. But when you have somebody to give them the right information that shows that, hey, I'm here to actually generally help. I have no vested interest in this. I don't make money from this. We found fundraised, and this class is free to you because of voluntary support. Then that person starts to understand that that's really where we kind of need to be. I missed one of my callings. Like I low-key love instruction and educating. I probably, if I wasn't doing this, and if I did go to college, I probably would be like a history teacher or like a civics teacher. I'm just really into it. So when you explain to somebody that is already propagandized through violence, when you tell them, like, listen, the founders of America, George Washington, snuck and took a boat on Christmas Eve and rowed it across the Delaware River to go kill the ops. That sounds like like an action movie. And it's like, what? Yeah. And you know that the government, whole thing of America was like, we don't rock with the government. They really was like FTP. And so when you explain that way to young people and then show them the safe and responsible component and give them a standard to maintain, 9 times out of 10, they maintain that standard. And so the person that doesn't understand that has been fed that propaganda, I know why they think that way. It's no different than I know 100% why that 13% of the population that does 50% of the crime stat, even though it's debunked and it's not true, I know why it seems to work, because social media or media in general has propagated this thing that as soon as you go outside in the black community, it's going to be shooting. Like, to say that 13% of the overall population does half of the violent crime is almost like saying I do violent crime and I don't. And, or Shamika does violent crime outside of her, pointing the firearm at that girl when she was younger.
Right.
I'm just saying that to say I don't get mad by it because I understand that they don't study what I study, and they haven't committed to. Most people haven't committed to studying anything consistently outside of what their schools told them to. And
Mhm.
so, if the schools are a part of that same matrix, then I get it. My job is to go, is this person reachable? Can I lead with empathy? Can I give them right knowledge? And can I get conversions? I'm not here for like these fake moral victories or just to own the left. Most of the people that we've converted in BGM came from the left. We just made them not think about it that way. I didn't come through antagonistic. So I know why they think that because I know who fed them the false narrative. My job is to show them, hey, they trying to trick you, bro. They want you to be unarmed for these reasons because I know you don't trust the government like that. And when we
Right.
can find those common grounds and I can explain it to them that way, they normally kind of like get on board. And then once I get you with the Second Amendment and guns and protecting yourself, it's a layup to get you into civics, limited government, not paying as many taxes, wanting limited government in your life, wanting less police presence in your community. It's easy after that because the teeth of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is the Second Amendment, and that's you accepting your role and responsibility and the requirements and standards that go along with this firearm, the power of life and death. Everywhere I go, I could kill every single person around me. That is a responsibility. And so when you teach people and train them that way and start with the difficult one, then when they start enjoying firearms and paying for guns and paying for ammo, it's easy to get them to want them to keep more of their money so they can shoot more guns and ammo. But then they recognize, yo, the government is all in my business. Then I get them with the civics class and say, yeah, the Revolutionary War was like 3 to 4% in tax. How much you pay in taxes? And then they go,
Mm.
wait, I'm paying like 40% in taxes. So my job, I'm here to realign the hood's perception. And I'm really good at the job because I know what I'm talking about and I can communicate effectively. And I don't take nothing personal because like you ain't gonna do nothing to me. So it's just a real it's been pressure tested and challenged over the last almost 10 years, and it's helped us improve and reach way more people than we even thought we could initially.
Yeah, I definitely agree that you're really good at it because you have me. I don't know if, well, most of the audience should know, but for those who don't, Maj is a libertarian.
Mhm.
So you actually opened my eyes to the point that I was thinking, why do I need to get my car inspected to have tags? I paid for this car. Why do I have to get permission to drive it? I was never thinking like that before. I was just thinking, okay, every year we have to get this little sticker that says that we can drive our car, or we have to pay our taxes on our homes to say that we can still live here well after the house has been paid for. So it's
Mm.
just like certain things now I think about that I didn't even think about before.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, do you think that the system tries to make people just stay dependent and not really understand what's going on, because it's easier that way for them to control us if we're so dependent and feeling like we need their permission
Yeah.
for everything? And along with that question, why do you think people, especially those of us, with our skin color,
Mhm.
why do you think we feel the need to ask permission to be citizens?
So first, yes, the system does create that, and I would do it too. At a certain point, if the Illuminati comes to buy me, I'm gonna do it to y'all too. I'm 1,000% gonna use my superpowers for evil. All I need is 200 million in Bitcoin or 800 in fiat currency. Once that happens, you guys are done. You know what I mean? So if I'm saying it for that small number for fiat currency and whatever, you have to think about the trillions upon trillions of dollars that are benefiting a small amount of the so-called elite. I don't call them elite. They just have they've done their work, and I respect them. My grandmother used to say, "Respect the devil." I respect devils. They built something. They built and convinced the American people and by and large, most of the world, even though they may be 1 or 2% of the world's population, if that, meaning these people that run industry and this, that, and the third. And not that industry is bad or everybody that runs an industry is evil. They did a good job. They did a good job of taking this amazing experiment called America, which literally has all of the stuff written down, and convinced people to be well-fed slaves. It's great when you look at it. Like, if I was on their team, I would be like, good job. They would get a promotion like every couple of months. So yes, they have a vested interest in doing that. And that's from, can we sell you horrible food your entire life? Can we convince you to not grow food in your yard? Because most of us that are older, even sometimes in the northeastern cities, at least somebody had some sort of fruit tree in their backyard. We don't do that anymore. So your food supply and your supply chain is now dependent, especially if you live in a big city. Your entire city can be blocked off because your city is encapsulated by a highway. And if they shut down the highway, your supplies can't get in and out. So from the food that you eat to you not taking any type of, you outsource everything. You think it's you because you could buy it and it comes to you. But if they control the supply chain, as we saw in COVID in 2020, it could get crazy. Within 2 weeks, America could fall just based on blocking the supply chains or cutting the Wi-Fi out for the electric. So saying this to say, it makes sense for those small minority of people to keep you controlled from their perspective. And I say kudos to them for doing such a great job. They control your education system. They've made you believe that homeschooling is bad, or your children are going to turn out weird, or they're not going to fit in with society, while at the same time, you say there's something wrong with these kids in society, but you somehow want your children to be just like them and fit in with them, which is backwards. The propaganda machine is efficient. They control most of the media. They control and have conquered most of your institutes of so-called higher learning, and they've trickled that down into the K+ grade. So they have an interest. The interest is power. The interest is control. It's no longer just about money, because we also control the concept of money. We are the people that have literally made the United States government do the exact opposite of what the founders said as it relates to do not centralize a money supply. They literally created a Federal Reserve when every founding father was like, hey, don't do a centralized money supply. They're great at it. So that's their interest. If it's 10 of me and it's 2,000 of y'all, us 10 work together in industry and control your mind on all of the areas of human activity: education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And again, hats off to them. I'm not a hater. It's a chess game. You make a good move on the other side of the board, I just go, damn, that was a dope move. I don't knock over the board. It's my board, actually. It's our board as the people. So that's that. The reason why the people have not been as resolute in defiance and opposition is because, yet again, that system is inculcated. And if you were to tell someone, to your point that you brought up earlier, to tell someone, I should not have to pay you for something that I've already paid for from the person that I bought it from. You didn't put in on this in any way, shape, or form. So why should I give you any more money as government? What did you do to add to this home? Did you change a light? Did you put up a new roof? Did you send the government to cut my grass? You did nothing. So when you start to look at government as the mafia that it is, you start to question that differently. But if I've convinced you through those same areas of human activity, since you was knee-high to a grasshopper, you think that that thought process is strange. You think that we should all pay taxes because I got to build my roads. Never mind the fact that most of America and its roads were built before the income tax came in 1914. So you mix that with bad intel, you mix that with bad diet, you mix that with massive media propaganda campaigns, you mix that with them being able to adapt and speed up in real time right now. You do all of these things, and when you see that, you go, this is why the people are asking permission for things, because this group of people, more specifically, was not made to see how powerful Black Americans in American history is like one and the same. So you think that the North would have won without Black people, and that's 1,000% not true. You think that Black people didn't have a rich tradition with firearms ownership in America, and that's not true. You think that our elders and ancestors were completely just, oh yes, sir, master. The Seminoles in Florida alone were in opposition to slavery, and so-called Indians and Black people were both identified as Negro back in those times. You think that the movies just made you think that we just one of us. It was just one dude every so often, and that's not what happened. But because you got most of your information from your ops, and when I say ops, I don't mean the general public at large. I mean a small group of people that over time have kept meticulous records and are good at managing people into, bite-sized controlled blocks. So that's the reason why. That's another reason why when people like me show up, people get scared. They don't, man, that guy's shaking too many, whatever. So that's why I got to get more corporate in how I present it. We have mutual friends that are a little bit nervous of me just in general. And so I'm such a nice person, though. I'm super, super nice. However, I know what I represent, and I know my spirit is going to irritate a coward. My spirit is going to irritate a demon. My spirit is going to irritate, my aura is going to intimidate certain people, and I get it. They got their own bills to deal with. The Matrix has its own system it's trying to maintain. And then lastly, most people ain't about that action anyway. So y'all just go ahead, take the universal basic income. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to conquer beautiful women and mate and be with those women. You weak, and the system made you weak. Just, I'll find the job for you in our army, and it might be bait. You might just be bait in the zombie apocalypse, but you serve a purpose. My point in saying this is I understand the trepidation, the ignorance that's been fed into the people, and their nervousness and wanting to ask for permission all of the time because they're not free men. And it's just unfortunate, but that's what it is. They need to just go to the gym a lot. I got a Solutionary University. I'll get you right. If you fit that, this is not a diss to any of the men watching or listening. If you fit that mold and you know what I said, speak to your soul, and you know that's who you are in your heart of hearts, this is not a diss. I have a simple blueprint to get you up out of that. And you just need to apply it. The question is, do you just want to continue to be a mental slave, or do you want to fight for a little bit of freedom economically, spiritually, mentally, physically, especially if you're out of shape. If you're a guy and you're out of shape, no woman should sleep with you. If you can't defend, no woman should talk to you. If ladies, if you go to his house and he don't have no books, or you never seen him in the gym, you never seen him drink water, you never seen him shoot a gun or talk about firearms or personal protection, or he's not paying attention in the stoop, you better not give him none of them yams. We have to reverse engineer this situation. But if you one of them brothers, and I say more specifically to the brothers, because I'm a leader of men, I don't really, women going women. I can't, y'all like little and shit. Like, it doesn't matter the same to me. I could come off a little sexist, but whatever. But if you a guy and you fit that mold, hit me up. And I'm not being condescending. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying you are a part of the problem, and we have a solution. And if not, I'll find a place for you. I thought 2020 was going to be the zombie apocalypse. I already knew who was going to be my bait. I already knew we was going to leave out there, let the zombies eat him. And mentally or metaphorically, if you know that's you and you know you need to improve, please email me, shoot me a DM, whatever it is, man. I have a blueprint. You need to get in shape. You need to be able to shoot. You need to study more. And you need to be a protector and provider for your people. And so, if not, then just show me your girlfriend, and is she cute? And if so, we need that.
Yeah, I will say I second everything that you said, and I agree, ladies. We've been talking about being more feminine and what men we should look for, and I agree. If he's out of shape, if he's not a protector, if he's not a provider, I second that emotion. And I'm fine with you being a misogynist, Maj, because I am a little woman, and I'm trying to help women stay little women because a lot of them ain't little no more. So I don't mind anything that you say on this platform.
Yeah.
So you don't got to worry about me looking at you strange. Um, I would say though, first of all, I'm so glad you mentioned fruit trees because not to get off topic, but I was wondering, like, was it just here in the South? Because I do remember every house almost on the street that I grew up on had fruit. We had cherry trees, and I had a neighbor who had a plum tree. We had a peach tree. We had scuffadines, and then it just all of a sudden it's gone. They don't even grow like that anymore. And I was wondering what happened. And thinking about myself, I love that you're libertarian. I spoke to that, but just thinking about myself for the years that I actually voted Democrat or just thought I'm going to be this good little mental slave, do what I'm supposed to do, follow all of these laws they keep coming up with. And I didn't realize that I was even a mental slave, that I really should been looking towards freedom.
Yep.
And so you said something about how people look at you strange because of how you carry yourself. That's the way that I feel. Like when I think about, my friends and my family, so many of them that are still controlled or indoctrinated by the left, they look at me like I'm strange. And I'm thinking, no, I'm seeing freedom. It's in my view. And that's what I'm trying to push. And that's what I want people to understand. You don't have to be this little mental slave. So I want to ask you, what do you think the biggest lies are that the left pushes about guns and self-defense? And why I hear so many saying, we need more gun control. We need gun control. Like every time I turn around, that's
Yeah.
all I hear.
They psychologically see themselves as the person on the wrong end of the gun. They never visualize, or like, if growing up little, my thought was, I got a gun. I can stop things, I can make things happen with the gun. My psychology is never, the gun is pointed at me. So they aren't strong enough, they're not conquerors in that sense. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that, like, this entire society, when I say every area of human activity, I mean that. Again, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. There is a constant diet of you are weak. Your psychology is not associated with a conqueror's mentality. Your entire psyche is if, maybe, hope, maybe they will. I need a job. I gotta go. And I'm not in opposition to labor and working, because I don't think most people are built for entrepreneurial endeavors. But it's not even like, hey, I'm a part of a team and a job that I like and I really enjoy it and I take passion in it. Even that's a certain level of confidence. The general public has just been fed a steady diet. I mean, they make you think it. You start to look crazy when you start looking back at how much it's propagandized. So, for example, there is no television show that is successful that has a man, especially right now, maybe in like the last 10 or 15 years, maybe one or two. The dad is the head of the household. The dad is loving to his wife. The wife understands her role. The husband understands his role. and they raise solid children. What happens now is the dad is an absolute moron. He's Homer Simpson.
Yes.
He's weak. He's incapable. The wife is yet talking to him any type of way. And it's propaganda. So then you look like you the conspiracy theorist when you start to point it out. But if it's too many things that are doing the same thing, it's not an accident. It's an organized phenomenon, a highly organized phenomenon. So when that propaganda machine shifts into everything and the controllers of it that pull the levers of power, we cannot give you anything that makes you understand the power of a thing. Like, people will think that, like, I see this a lot, them same type of trolls that'll be like 13% of the population do 50% because you guys are violent. Yes, I am thoroughly capable of violence. I'm really good at it because I'm a man. I'm supposed to be capable of violence. You try to trick us into not being capable of violence as if it's some sort of like, as if Jesus wasn't turning over a table or two.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that white liberal is just more cunning in their approach. Sometimes the right does it like the trolls will be like, see, you guys are just, you can't even control yourself, as if any other demographic of men that you walk into. Try that in Arab parts of the world. Go into that place and be disrespectful to that group of people and see if somebody don't knock a section off your forehead. You want to be disrespectful to people unlike men, solid men do, and you want them to respond in a way that's gentleman-like because they want to convince you that the capability of violence and strength is a bad thing, and it's not. Meanwhile, these same people go, yeah, Trump took care of those Venezuelan boats. There's just big contradictions, and most people capitulate to it because they want to be a part of the in crowd. I don't care about an in crowd. And so all of that talk, all of that this, all of that, it's designed to make you very, very subservient. And again, the white liberal is, I respect them. I respect the Jews for taking over the American government with AIPAC. I love that they did it. It's amazing how weak you have become and you allowed it to happen. I love that the white liberals, as tough as the conservatives and libertarians talk, the conservatives are getting policies and they took a presidency from you. And now you're doing the same. You following they lead and sticking to the standard of the constitutional republic that we live in. I respect power. I respect power and cunning and capability. And so when I see it and I see the fruits of their labor, now that might come with the destruction. Like the final season of America is entertaining as hell, right? So when I see it, I go, as a power person, I go, they really got that off. Now, it doesn't impact me individually on my team because I will 100% hurt you. I will 100% hurt you. I'll hurt you. If you ever try to, I'm a fan of conflict resolution and de-escalation and all of those things. But if you violate, I'm going to enjoy violating you. I like breaking people. I like watching people's spirit break, grown men. And so that's a component that's supposed to be a part of us as grown men. But by convincing people that that's wrong, or you're not supposed to aspire to that and have it under voluntary control, or rely on government because it's the government's responsibility, when I also misinformed you that government historically has been responsible for the most death in the world. Government has been responsible for the most division, for the most war, all of these different things. And so when you start to understand those things and you start to become confident because you're competent in your skill sets, I can grow my own food. I have a farm. I can just leave whenever I want to, even when the planes was like, you got to wear a mask. I bought an RV. The ability to just do what you want in alignment with freedom and take care of your people, even if it's not $100 million a year, even if it's only $500,000-$600,000 a year, it's even if it's only 100, because I don't want that. I don't want to seem out of touch with people that may make less than that. It's still a certain level of freedom. If that means I bought 2 acres and I work my farm and I work a painting job and I make enough money and I pay my house off and I just want to hang out here and build the things that I want in my house, there's nothing wrong with that. they've conditioned us to chase things while not strengthening us mentally and not and ridiculing every single thing that goes in alignment with strength. One great example that I have, and I'll land my plane here, is the episode of Martin where he wanted to get in shape. He started eating healthy and going to the gym. And Gina's whole thing was she had to break him off of being a strong dude. That, and I get it, we joke, we laugh as Martin, but that means something. We make you think that you're wrong because you want to eat healthy and work out and be in position and get stronger, and not just consistently indulge in one of the most excellent ways to develop discipline is what you eat. I eat 5 times a day. 5 times a day, I make a decision to put things into my body that's going to make me stronger. And if you men that are out here that's disagreeing with me or saying smart stuff in the troll section and all of that, I eat 5 times a day and make a decision to not eat certain things a day. Is because when your girl sees me and sees my shoulders and sees my arms and sees my legs and my calves and my squat level, that's another sign of she's going to choose me over you. It's primal. It's primal. And she's smart to choose me over you because I represent protection and provision. Can this being care for and defend my offspring? That is what women are hardwired to do. And so they've just made us not be that. And they've used, going back to that Martin example, they've used that in so many different ways, going back to the dad TV show and all of that, to just make it socially acceptable to be a weak man. Mm-hmm. And then the other end of that is we present men that do work out and shoot guns and all of that, but they have no emotional intelligence. They don't understand the desire to establish and expand on family. They have a very microwave mentality. They chase flashy things, and there's very little substance. And they can say smart things because being masculine and working out, some lessons is going to download just naturally. But they'll feed that person as the other end of the spectrum. And a person that comes to mind is Elon Musk. Elon Musk has, I think, 14 children. Mm-hmm. I don't care about your money, bro. You cannot have one of your children's like this wild transgender. Mm-hmm. And so, and I get it, he's like on the spectrum, so they say, but like, that's the other end. We'll respect the fact that he's made these companies, but we won't acknowledge that, bro, you a contradiction right there. Elon Musk, you got tits, bro. You gotta be a holistic person. I take the dude that's solid, that has, and even if he got a couple baby moms and all of that, and he trying to get his thing together, he's solid, he's principled, he might only make 50, 60, 80, $100,000 a year, but he going in that direction. And so these are the principles that we have to bring back, and we have to be willing sometimes to sacrifice some of our network or our positions because we are going to be principled. But be very clear, the entire propaganda machine is 1000% designed to make the stuff that I'm saying right now wrong, or I'm sexist or whatever. And any woman that's ever been around me is like, yo, he's like super nice and he's not mean. I'm not out here Andrew Tating it, talking about these women ain't this. And like, you came from a woman, bro. So there's a balance there that I would just challenge some of the men to, if you all the way down here with the super weak shit, get with me and I'll help you out, and then you'll get more balance. But don't go too far and get the other end of the media propaganda that's on X telling you low key kind of like supposed to hate women. It's stupid.
Right. I will say, Maj is telling the truth. He is really nice because I asked you and there was no hesitation. And I didn't even really feel like I could ask you until you dropped in the chat last week, because I was thinking, okay, how big do I need to get first before he'll be willing to actually come on? There's a lot of people that I want to have, and I'm like, I want to just kind of prove myself a little bit first, but you are really nice. And I thank you for actually coming on. And last month we talked about there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, or toxic masculinity is actually the absence of masculinity. And I love that you talked about men should be capable of being violent, because you said it absolutely correct. No woman wants to be with a man for real, or she's not going to respect that man if she feels like he doesn't have the ability to actually protect her. And this is why I feel like you see so many men whining and saying, oh, women run after the bad boy. It's not that women want to be taken advantage of or mistreated or ran through. It is in our nature to look at that person and think, I want to be with the person who's going to protect me and provide for me. And sometimes women erroneously choose somebody that just has that front. Is not real. But we naturally want the man that can provide and protect us. So you hear all these men saying, oh, they don't want a good guy. We do want a good guy, but not a weak guy. And there is a difference.
They confusing good guy with, like, it's like dudes that's like, yo, I'm peaceful. It's like, bro, you're not peaceful. You harmless. You can't do nothing if you want to.
Right.
So like when I would tweet at different places and be like, I get hate mail and DMs and all of this all the time. When I'm in a different city, I say, I'm going to be at this restaurant at this time. I'm going to pull up, have a good time, pour libations. Y'all know what it is. And so they're confusing. Some dudes will do it, say they're a good guy, but they're really deceptive and evil dudes. They not good dudes. That's like, I don't generally trust dudes that I never heard cuss. It's like you working too hard to keep up a thing. I don't trust people that say they pro-black, but they always too presentable. I'll be on social media sometimes. I shaved for this show, for sure. I trimmed, right? But I like, yo, bro, you too cute. You too cute all the time. I don't trust you. You ain't have one bad hair day. You ain't just you ain't just come from the gym. You ain't just like, yo, I wake up at 3:30. If I feel like putting something on my mind, I'm going to go to the gym and, you know what I mean? And so they aren't good guys. They're presenting as good guys, but they have a certain air or level of deception that's just a little bit weird. And so women, in my opinion, a good litmus test to see is, ask him, is he a solutionary? Ask him, does he shoot? Ask him, what books has he read? If he tell you a gang of novels, you might want to tap out. Ask him what skill set does he have? Ask him, can he change a tire? There's things that, and we got a whole community of solid men too. So like, I just want everybody to work together and like really, really like link with each other that's on the same accord. That's the only really way that I see to push back against this agenda, because otherwise the matrix is already entrenched. You got to fight like Vietnam did against America. You got to fight like the Afghani rebels did in, Afghanistan. It has to be very decentralized, but it's your group of people. So you got to find small tribes like the movie Fight Club and work those angles across the time. But I want to say I also have a lot of trust and hope in our men and improving in our women for finding those good men as well.
Well, I'm glad you have that hope. I'm trying. Some days I have hope, and then some days I'm like, we are cooked. But you talked about conflict resolution. This is the last thing I want to kind of point out. So you don't just talk about how we should view guns or whatever, or you just don't teach gun laws. You also teach conflict resolution. So tell me why you feel like that's equally important.
Because the morons that start trouble have people that care for them, that love them, that don't know how stupid they outside being. So, and I don't believe in buying into systemic propaganda. I don't believe in, same as I wouldn't get mad at a leftist that believes in gun control. I just look at it as an opportunity to share empathy and understand and have respect for my opponent, my opponent has put into this person's mind that they should not have the means to defend themselves and their family. That's respectful. And I go, whoo, it's a reminder to me that, hey man, stay on your P's and Q's, because at any given moment, the Matrix could like grab your mind and twist it a different way. So I don't take it personal. Same as I don't take it personal when somebody's just doing fake tough stuff or whatever. And just because I'm capable and ready and ready to get busy does not mean that I want to put my daughter through that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a fan of. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I'm so sorry, brother. My apologies. If you step on my foot, I'm so sorry, brother. Because one, I probably got a gun on me, and you might not, and I'm definitely gonna win. But that person that cares for you and loves you doesn't know that you might be out here rambunctious. I do not want to expose my child to a certain level of violence that I'm definitely going to take it to. I know where I'm going to take it. So for you and for society in general and my children and your loved ones and all of that, I'm not feeding into the Matrix. I'm not going to shoot you. Now your family got to do a fish fry. And now their cousin that they loved is gone. Somebody loves him. So I truly believe in the individual, but I also respect the collective. And I just, all of us, and when you tie it back into firearms ownership, we have to be the adults in the room. Media is already packaging us as the irresponsible, reckless people, just because we the gun nuts. No, I want to leave a scenario where people go, man, that guy's a gun owner, and he was just so, you know what I mean? And after a certain point of you knowing what you're capable of, it does. I already sized the room up. I already sized you up. You got it, bro. I don't want no trouble. Then you gotta like pay your lawyer the retainer fee. Like it's just stuff that's going along with this. And every round that comes out of your firearm, you were responsible for. It better be a slam dunk. It 1000% better be a slam dunk. This bad guy was doing this bad thing, and he was a threat to life. Other than that, we don't respect unnecessary drama, unnecessary angst, anger, emotionally unstable, reckless adult males. We do not respect that. That is not gangster. Mm-hmm. That is not diplomatic. That is not royal. That's peasant shit. And I'm just not a fan of it. And now, when it's time for it, I'm definitely going to fold you up. It's going to be quick, it's going to be violent, and it's going to be gone. I'm out. We out. But if we can avoid that, I'm really kind of like a pacifist. I'm like a hippie. Like, I'm like a hipster. It's like, hey, man, like, peace and love. Like, that's genuinely, like, that's a part of me. Like, sitting by the water and having a good time. And that's great. I'm a protector. I want to protect people from bad people. And I'm not a bad person. And I hate bad people doing bad things to good people. So we reserve that for those people. And again, if anybody wants to start training their mind and their thought process going in that direction, I'm going to ask everybody, please, guys, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. We need like 460 more donors at the $100 level. You don't have to donate 100. But if you donate, instead of just buying that thing that I'm talking about at Solutionary University, donate $99 or more and paying it for our firearms classes to maintain and being free for all. And we'll just give you access to Solutionary University and all of these different modules and transformative information. I didn't get here, on oops. I got here through understanding. I got here through, some of the people that I was very, very critical of, I wish I could have done it differently, just learning things differently. I'm toning down how I approach people, because I know that they already scared. I wouldn't have called one of the donors that was kind of being rude to me. I wouldn't have told them to eat a dick, and I did. You know what I mean? There's certain people that I wouldn't have spazzed on. I wouldn't have even engaged, but that comes with time. And this is a legitimate evolution that I'm telling y'all. It is 1000% associated with and related to this blueprint that I've created in Solutionary University, and which is study, which is workout, which is shooting, which is a community of people that are genuinely like, hey, let's sharpen each other here. I mean, even down to doing your macros and the discipline of, I'm not eating this, but I'm eating this 4 or 5 times a day. You get these little wins, you know? So if you guys want to support the work, please. No, that is crazy. I wouldn't have told him to eat a dick. It's crazy. When I did say that, he was being a gobbler for real. So, but if that's something that you're interested in and you want to support our Second Amendment work, our actual work, please, guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary is right under me. If you're watching this on my X page, it's my pinned post above me. But just support the work if you got some value. Shoot me some questions, DM me, all that other good stuff. I promise y'all, I'm super nice. I'm super down to earth. I'm a good man. I'm not a nice guy in the sense of I'm a nice guy. I don't like the fake thing. No, I'll tell you the truth. If you jump in my DMs and you want to lose weight and you say, am I fat? And if you are fat, I'm going to respectfully tell you got some weight to lose, and we're going to help you with doing that. If you have been on that fitness journey and you want to shoot better, I'm going to show you how to shoot better. If you want to study better, you can. Earl says, so do you have a website we can go to get this information? Yes, this is how you can get it. 2 ways. 1, be a donor at givesendgo.com/solutionary. If you donate over $99, I'm going to have your email. I'm going to send you access to this 1000% immediately. Like as soon as the email will come right to my phone and you'll already have access to it. And if you want to look first, go to solutionaryuniversity.org. So that where under my name it says Founder Solutionary University, solutionaryuniversity.org. And you can see the programs. I would recommend that you sign up for Solutionary 9, which is 9 daily activities that we do, super transformative. If you are interested in, and I mean like leveling up from a holistic perspective. We helped some of our people, man. My guy, Cyclops, was 400 pounds. We helped him lose 100 pounds, right? My guy, Javier, had a huge gut and was fat and wound up like, he looks like a model now. No Diddy, you know what I mean? But he looks like a model right now. He's like very attractive and, his hair is glowing and all this other different stuff. And that's the base level. But when we're talking about our mind, our ability to control ourselves, because you're walking around with a gun, our ability to de-escalate and put people together and resolve things and keep our eyes on the prize of improving ourselves, our family, our community. And that's what conservatism is. Limiting government, and we changing a nation in the direction of what our moral, spiritual, political views are by just spreading that out without government having to be involved. And so, guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Donate $99 or more. You get access to that. Donate whatever you can. But if you want to check it out first, go to solutionaryuniversity.org.
We have a question. If I donate, will you help a legally blind lady get a concealed permit asking for a friend?
Yes. Yes. And I want to be clear what people understand. Legally blind, the operative word there is legally blind. A legally blind person isn't Stevie Wonder, right? They can legally see, but they can actually see, but under a certain amount, you are legally blind. And a lot of times, ironically, weirdos will target legally blind people if they see them with them glasses on, with the Ray Charles joints on, and the little stick. They'll target those people, but they don't know that those people can kind of see. So yes, we will. And matter of fact, Sharisa, if you shoot me a DM or an email, I'll make sure I get with you ASAP, because I'm gonna be doing some fundraising and engaging with you all from the show for the next hour or so. Yo, Reppin' Magazine just said something that I agree with. I low key, that's why I switched to Ray Charles. I believe Stevie Wonder can see. Like,
He
who's
act
picking
like,
his clothes? You know what I mean? Like, that's just he committed to the marketing, so I ain't mad at him.
but I couldn't help but laugh, Maj, because Sharice is actually my best friend,
Yeah,
and when they said she was legally blind, we would go out and I would not let her take her stick.
yeah,
And I got to the point where I would be twirling the stick, you know, like it was a flag or a baton, and she would just say, "Just put it in the car,"
yep.
because I
Because
didn't
you
want
can
her
see. Don't
nosing
be trying to
around.
trick us.
Right. Exactly. And just walk off, and she'll act like, you know, she wanted to use it. Like, and I would tell her, "You can see. Like, stop playing." I was
Right.
gonna make her see.
And if we came out together, don't think I'm gonna be holding your hand everywhere when I
Okay.
know you can see. You might not be able to
Exactly.
see as good as I can see, but you can see. Put that stick away and develop that muscle. Nah, that's absolutely solutionary. Nah,
Oh
no.
God, thank you. You just, you know, thank you for that, Maj. You have spoken. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Maj, for linking this to your page. Make your people come over and check me out sometimes. I think we have some good conversations over here. That's why people are here, because you know, they like me. They like me. Anyway, tell us one thing that you want people after hearing this conversation to do after this show ends.
I
One
want
thing.
y'all to go get training. If you cannot donate, right? Because I said the number 100 a bunch of times. $100 is just so we can count them down. 465, 464, whatever, right? I want y'all to take a class. The classes are only $20, and all of the information comes right to you. I want you to take a firearms basics class. I want you to take an understanding imminent threat class, a civics class, all of the stuff that we talked about. The $99 donor or more, you get access to all of the classes and the meal prep and the macros and all of that. But if you might not be there just yet. Just take a firearms class first. It's $20. Shoot me a DM. Yes, it's me. It's not a bot. It's not. We got one automated thing for Instagram, but then after that is me. Shoot me a DM. I want everybody that takes this class. I mean that is watching this show. Take a class. Shoot me a DM. I'll give you the link directly. The reason why I want you to do that is because it is so empowering, and it takes you down a positive rabbit hole. It makes you start to go, oh, I got to think about this. I got to think about that. I should be on this. I should be on that. It's literally designed to make you become more holistic and well-rounded. So the thing that I would ask everybody to do is shoot me a DM or shoot me an email. My email is majtoure@solutionaryuniversity.org. My DMs is to all of the pages that y'all are watching this on now. Shoot me a DM and I'll get you access to a link. The class is $20 and it's yours. It's a video. You get the video. It's like buying a movie off of Amazon. You watch it whenever you want. You don't have to be trapped by, I can only watch it for a certain amount of time. No, it's yours. I want you to give it to everybody in your house. Give your password like you do with Netflix. Give it to other people. Let them take the class too. I don't care if 10 people get the information off of your $20 purchase. I don't care. So that's the first thing that I want everybody to do. If you can donate, awesome. That's great. If you can donate $99 or more, awesome. You'll get access to all of the classes and share them like the Netflix password. But if you can't and you want to learn a little bit, take a class. It's $20. Everybody should shoot me a DM after this. I promise you I'm a good person.
I second that. I'm trying to put that up there so they can know this is what they need to do.
Yeah.
Donate and take the class.
Boom.
Again, I appreciate everyone for joining us today. Head shakers, thank you for coming in. And this is why this week's theme is so important. Again, it's empowered people don't need permission. We started today with self-defense, but this message runs deeper. Tomorrow we'll tackle what it means to live as unapologetic citizens, rejecting the lie that we are guests in America. because the future belongs to the people who claim it without fear, without apology, and without waiting for anyone to say yes. Mother, may I? Yes, you may. Nope, this is not 1985, and we're not playing Mother, may I. So stay empowered, stay unapologetic, and I will see you all, head shakers, tomorrow. Same place, same time. I love you. Peace.
Peace.
Get it.